Hi everyone, thanks for joining with me on this video. On this video, I am going to explain about clay and pottery industry and what are the machineries that use in nowadays on clay and pottery industry. As you all know, clay and pottery industry was established in the early ages of humankind. The early humans that lived in cages moved towards the farming land into the farming culture. On these farming cultures, people need to collect and cook their food and collect water and other things. For that, people started to use clay pottery on their day-to-day life. First of all, what they did is that collect clay from the clay beans and take them into the clay preparation status on their homes. Or nowadays, for these preparations to grinding purposes, use the ball milling machine. On these videos, I will going to on the early stages of from the clay deposit. This way, you cut off the clay from the deposit and collect into two sides as much as smaller particles. Then they put into ball mills to grind them into the small grinding positions. On the early days, this grinding process was done using like a wood stick, doing the manpower way. You can see this image how that had been done on the early days. But nowadays, this ball mill machine was used to grind the clay into small particles. From this ball mill machine, the larger rocks and other particles that exist in the clay will be grinded into smaller particles. Then this clay slurry that had taken out of the ball mill machine will be stored in a clay storage tank like this. On this site visit, we saw this clay storage tank was made from cement tank, and then this clay slurry was pumped into the filtration process from these pipelines. You can see these pipelines goes straight into the filter press machine. Next, the filter press machines. The filter press machine is used to evaporate the existing water on the clay. On the early days, they done is that they place the liquid clay slurry in the open soils to dry it out the water. It will take several days, but using filter press machine, hydraulic pressure, you can see this is the hydraulic pressuring pump. The clay slurry will be pumped into a filter disc system like this. The filter discs were made using used like this way, and it was the dish was made using high density dish, and it was made on the middle side of them. They have was hole, and the clay slurry was run through these holes and separated out through the filter material. A dense filter material was used to filter the clay slurry out of the filter out of the clay. This is the filter hydraulic pressuring machine. You can see the clay slurry was pumped into the using hydraulic pressure, and that pressure will pump out the waters out of the clay, and rest of the clay will stay in the clay discs on this filter machine. You can see it's explaining how the water and the clay slurry comes out, and what are the way what happens in the clay processing process. You can see this filter film was a cloth type filter one. It is somewhat dense, that one. The clay will be collected, trapped in these filter cloths, and these clay dishes will be taken out to for the preparations. This is one was the England one, and there are two machines on this industrial site. One was hydraulic pressure one, and other machine was a mechanical operated press machine. And you can see the smaller one, it only take motor power, electrical motor power only. The clay will be pumped using say one motor, but in the filter press machines that made in China or nowadays has to use several motors to press the existing clay. One was made these clay dishes will be compressed in a high pressurized compressing device to remove all the water air bubbles of the clay that has existed, and remove this clay. If there are any clay bubbles on the clay, there will be leakages on the prepared pottery. To remove that strain, they use this compression device. On the early days, they used legs and kettles to compress this clays on their industry. But nowadays they use mechanical operated compression machines like this. You can see large amount of clay was prepared in a highly speed up machines that give a efficient output for the industry, because nowadays the requirement of clay industry is high. So the production of clay should be, the speed of production clay will be should be high, has to have high speed. So these machines were implemented into the clay and pottery industry to have a high yield of production in the clay and pottery industry. Now the prepared clay was used in sakaporo. In Sinhala term it's called sakaporo, electrical rotating platform. Most of the you can see the ladies will take the clay like this and place on the rotating sphere and start to make the clay pottery. It should have a special skill on handcraft to build and polish the clay potteries. You can see code use, it was made their hand skills of their hands. Then this prepared potteries should be dried in not high sun rays, in low shadow sun rays for several hours, so 1 to 2 days in normal conditions, in it's called normal wind conditions. In Sinhala it says mother power nevia. Then these prepared clay potteries should be burned in kilns. In old days, people who used to have kilns of wood burning kilns. You can see these are the older days kilns that use firewood as the burning material. The prepared clay potteries will be burned unto 1200 centigrade using wood in these kilns. These are interior made wood kilns burners, and this is the outside burner, one of the burners they use in India. Nowadays they have gas operated kilns or burners that used to burn the clay and pottery industry. It is more efficiency and high yield ones, more than the clay, more than the wood kilns. These are the gas operated kilns that use nowadays. Gas burners used in these kilns. In less time, high efficiency burning can be taken out of these burners. When you consider about a small amount of pottery samples, you can use electrical um, kilns that made for small purposes like making one sample or like that burn clay pottery in nowadays in the industry. This is one or two sample can be burned on this kilns and can check the sample quality out of that one. Then these prepared clay pottery will be displayed in the showrooms, such like in this way. These footage were taken out of our um, site visit. Watching these videos with me in this video, and you can, I think you can have some knowledge about clay and pottery industry, how is it prepared, how it exists in these days, and how it evaluate from early days to nowadays, and what are the machines used in clay and pottery industry nowadays. And thank you for watching this video. Thanks again, and stay with me for more informative videos in future. Thanks.